Hey everybody, I got a lot of requests for a lot of things. Problems I don't remember half of it. I remember some things people ask about, but just I can't remember everything. I know one thing somebody asked about was they wanted to, this is about 2 months ago I saw this one, or maybe it was a month ago. They were asking about making a vanilla map, a snow map, and then I had another one that asked about, can I make another tutorial on making your own map? I'm going to show you the easiest way to do that, and the way I would recommend doing it if you're new at making things for Beam, you'll need to go to your user folder and go into levels. If there's not a folder for levels, then that's fine. If there is, open it up and make sure you don't have one for, say, small island. We're going to use that as an example. So it's not in here now. So when you load small island, it's loading off the install path out of the zip file. But to you to modify it, it would make all those changes to the user folder. And you can later on pack that user folder and share that as a mod. And people do it all the time. That's the easiest way to do it, but it's still going to be small island. Um, if you want to completely convert that thing all the way to be your own map, where it's got its own name and all that stuff, man, I don't want to do it. I did it. I won't do it again. It's a lot of work. Maybe it's not too much work now that I've done this a while, but it seemed like a lot of work then. And I just figured, nah, I don't need all that. But I have shared levels that are already done. If you want to get them, they are in my maps directory thing, my playlist. I shared a few small ones, like Small Island, with nothing on it. Just a few different ones. The tutorial map, that really crappy one that's like 400 megs, I shared that one. So what you're going to do is load the game and load up Small Island. Say if that's the one you want to mess with. I recommend Small Island because it seems to be the one that's not too big. It doesn't have any issues really. Um, some of them though I've seen have problems like reloading and things not saving. But this one seems to do pretty well, and it's the ideal size. I personally like the foliage on this one, the grass and all that stuff. That's really cool. Um, they got a good variety of stuff, trees and bushes and whatnot. Not really sure why I started spawning out here, but it is what it is. What it is, I guess. So this is the island now. You're not interested in this because you want your own island, right? Right. So we go here to the forest tools, and I'm not sure if these will delete. I think I delete them and they always come back, but there might be a different map that does it. We're going to select all the forest items on here, and don't worry if you don't see it all selected. It's still got it. Hit delete, um, and then go into the scene tree. And there'll be a lot of assets in here, a lot of buildings, a lot of stuff. If you want to clean a clean map, you'll have to clean that stuff off. So you go into your scene tree, not the asset browser, the scene tree. Well, it must be on the other monitor. There it is right there. I don't know why it gets like that. Yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. So you go to these different ones, rocks, harbor, helipad, roads. Just delete all that stuff. Just delete it. Delete it. Lights, harbor, rocks. It can take a bit for it to delete. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, you got to have this thing selected, or it ain't gonna delete anything. Trail decals, helipad, roads, fishing dwellings, all that shit. Off it goes. Static objects, all of it. AI roads. I've gone to level objects. Oops, I screwed up. And not only did it It also brought all the forest items back for some reason. Well, you can just delete the forest. That's what I do sometimes. Make a new one. Not hard to do. You just go to create an object. You go into other classes, look for forest, create, and look at that shit. It brought them right all back, didn't it? Yeah, see, that's something I'm not really sure why. I don't know. You know what? If it's a problem, you can always just move your damn map down a bit where there ain't no trees. But I don't mind it. I just don't even pay attention to that stuff because I'm half the time not working on a map that I need to get rid of all the trees. So I just usually let it work with whatever I'm doing. Or if I have to put them underwater, I'll just move them underwater. Just slide them underwater. You know, if they want to keep coming back, well, I got a solution for that too. They just spawn underground when they come back. Save the level. And now we got all the ground covers that are on here. You got to take all them off if you don't want anything on here. Now these are ground covers. You can type in ground and see all of them here. And you can just unhide them or just hide them or delete them. I wouldn't delete them. No, I wouldn't want to have to remake them again. So now we got a clean map, basically. There's not much left in it. Maybe a 3D mesh here and there. But for the most part, it's pretty clean. So this is the terrain block. This is the total size you got now. If we go to the terrain, and you select it with that, you can move it up out of the water. You can see that's your total real estate right there. That's all you get. So this is the time you got to make a decision. Do you want it to be bigger than that? Or do you want it to be the same size or smaller? This is 1024 by 1024. You can go up to 8192 by 8192. But I'm going to leave it for here for now. I'm not going to do anything else. Now, I'm going to replace it here in a minute. But what I need to make sure of is in my terrain tools and my painter. In the terrain material library, which that has seemed to be getting off the screen over here too. Man. So what happens when you got a triple monitor, man, display, it wants to draw that stuff on the wrong, like right there, you can't grab it. You know what I mean? Look at that, it locked up on me. Good thing I saved it. I guess I gotta reset my damn Windows again. See, now we got a little user folder. See, this is all the stuff we've done. I don't know, that stuff shouldn't even be in there, but you know what? Let me delete it. We'll just see if it brings it back again. Try to get through this as quick as I can, but it's a lot to cover. Probably not going to get it all in this video. Likely not going to. So while that's loading, let's go to Blender. I got a model I downloaded. It's snow. Since somebody asked about snow, I got snow. I got a terrain that's snow. That's going to be the new terrain block. So that went to the downloads folder. I got it from sketchfab. Look up glacier and you'll find one that I found. There's only a few of them. And this one is the one that I used before. It works really well. Downloads. Glacier. I also got snowy mountains, snow landscape. I got a few different things I was going to mess around with, but for this one, we'll use this. So this has got 2 zip files in it. We need to unzip all that stuff. The sketchfab things, they usually have a zip inside of a zip. Like in the source, there'll be a zip file like that. This will be your model. In this particular case, I believe it's the FBX. Yeah, it's FBX, and that's its texture right there. So we need to import that into Blender, and then make a height map from it, and a texture map for it. So in Blender, And this is easy to do if you follow along. If you don't follow along and try to just do it, and then you're not going to ever do it. It's one of those things that it didn't really make much sense to me when I started doing it. But hey, maybe it does to you. So import, get that shit deleted. Import FBX. If that's what you downloaded as an FBX. Film box format, I believe is what it stands for. They say they're great for animations and stuff. Snow, where you at, Snow? There it is. All right. Now, is that the scale? It's upside down. It appears to be upside down. Or is it? I don't know, the texture ain't right. So I'm going to remove whatever texture they got on it and replace it with the actual texture that goes on it. Just give it a quick name, pick the base color. I'm not sure why it come in here like that. Things from Beam come in here like that too, except they're black most of the time. Yeah, just delete that texture if yours does that. And just reassign it. It'll be fine. Here's texture view. And you can see that is an outstanding looking. It's upside down like I thought. I guess you could do it that way if you wanted to. If you did do that, you'd have to flip your normals around. Speaking of that, normals, which way are they facing? Yep, upside down. So I was right. Let's tell it to center to origin of 3D cursor and then just say set origin geometry to origin. And then flip it around. Now this is going to be basically your terrain block. It's going to look like that without having to paint it or anything. I'm going to get the scale right before we even make a height map. So I'm going to just say that's probably 500 meters high. I don't know. I'm not a mountain climber. I know it looks pretty high, but you know, I don't know. I guess I could Google it. What's the name of that damn thing again? Something. What was it? It's called Dargin Dare. Dargin Dare. That one. We'll just ask it. What's the maximum height? Ask my old buddy. I was disappointed today, man. It told me it ran out of memory. I had to delete memories we shared together. Or I have to pay for the upgraded one that has no limit. Dargent. Dargentery. I was off, wasn't I? I was a little bit off. 3,900 meters. Well, that's a lot more than 500, ain't it? Now you'll want to go over to here to your view and tell it to show you at least 10,000 meters so it doesn't clip. Then I'll go to a side view and I'll take a measure thing here. I'll just pretend that's the highest point. And we'll measure. It says 3 meters. 3 meters. So I don't know. I'm not good at math, but I would say that's probably need to be 100 times bigger than that. Which I don't know what the dimensions would be. So we'll just scale it. Now let's measure it again. How many meters was that damn thing again? It said 3,400, right? That's only 313. I don't know, maybe 150. Maybe more. Now we're probably getting there. Damn, we still ain't there yet. I should have won 1,000. I knew I should have won 1,000. I said, man, I bet it's gonna be 1,000. But no, I really didn't know. That'd be good enough. We just gonna say that's it. So let's look at our max height, 2732. And the lowest point will be, and I gotta see farther than that. It's not far enough. The lowest point will be whatever ground zero is. I guess it's kind of hard to tell because some of this is below ground, some of this is not. So I'd say the best thing to do is the part you drive on, that you can drive on, get that above the red and green line. So nothing goes below absolute zero. You know, zero is the lowest point. It should be the lowest point of anything on your map when you do a height map. So that nothing is below it and everything is just above it. Now let's get the height again from here to there. That says 3,000. Oh, look at it. That's about right now. 3,600 meters. All right. Now here's the deal. You got to go into shader here. And the item we're making, this mountain thing, we need to add stuff to it. We need to add a geometry. We need to add a converter. Separate X, Y, Z. Then we need to add another converter, a math. And then you can just duplicate the math because we need a second one. And then add a color ramp. And then add a emission. It's a shader, emissive. Self-illuminates, basically. So you'll connect the position to the vector. You'll connect Z to the value at the top. The bottom, you'll make 0 for ground zero, and you'll set this to subtract. Then you'll connect value to the top value, and this one you'll set the height, the maximum height, like 3,600 meters. Then you'll connect value to the FAC, color to the color, and then disconnect the material output from the original texture and move it over here and connect it. Now you have a shader for a height map. And it's all white. Which is weirdly, I don't know why. I forgot to set the damn thing to, got to set that one to divide. There we go. Yeah, subtract the first one, the second one's divide. See, now we got us a proper height map. See what I mean about the dark areas, right? If this thing was below ground level, then you'd have areas that clip, that you would not be getting all the detail for the lowest, highest points. Now, by default, the scaling is linear. It's the way the gradient adjusts over time. Linear is the most point A to point B it gets, right? You got different ones in there that you can assign that. Oh, you'll also need to change your view in here to also see it far away because it doesn't show far in here either. So if you look here in the color ramp, you got easement, cardinal, B-spline, and constant. Ease is one that I'll use sometimes. At linear, I'll use most of the time. And you also can adjust this if you want to have more flexibility over the way the gradient goes. But the white is the highest point, and the dark is the lowest point. So unless you need something really special, then for most folks, just linear will be fine. Now let's go back to our layout and let's go to a top-down view. A top-down view. we want to rotate this, we can. It's up to you how you want it to be oriented. But we're going to add a camera from the top down view. And it's going to be down here when you add it. So you'll need to hit G on your keyboard and then press Z and move it up. You got a little dot right there. Then pick the camera here. And then in here, tell it to be the type, be orthographic. And the ortho scale is where it's at as far as, where is the damn camera at? I've never tried to take one of this plant, the land being that big. Kind of not sure really. Why does it look like that? I can tell it's clipping, but why? Oh. Because this thing has a range too that you gotta put in. Now let's straighten it back out. I done got it crooked now. And we got a hole here, so what's going on with that? That's as far as we can get out. We have to move it up to get even farther. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is a large item, so it's going to be... May have to shrink it. Change the resolution to 8192 by 8192. That'll make it square. They move it up more. That should be good enough. But it's not. Oh, you can manually add it. Oh, good. I wasn't sure. You can manually make it more. So you'll get the area that you want to be your terrain block. Now what you're going to want to do is add a mesh plane. And you'll want this to be black. So you'll scale it up. and you'll give it a texture and make it black. Change metallic so it's all metallic and it'll be solid black. Now you don't want it to be in your object, you want it to be below it. Its purpose is to give you a border around your thing so it's not mountains around it. It's going to be at the ground level and then work its way up to the mountaintop instead of being the other way around where you got a really high shelves all the way around that gradually go down to the mountain. So that'll do that. Then you render, and you render in Eevee. And it's important that you save this as image save as, and go to that level you're in, that you're putting it in. Small island. Just right here, put height map. Put whatever you want to name it, but it's going to be your height map. And it's going to be 16-bit color, no compression, and it's going to be black and white. Save image. Now all we have to do is render the texture that goes with that. So going to the shader once more, we'll disconnect our height map shader and scroll to here and connect this back to that. Now we'll want this to self-illuminate so that it's got it lights itself up. So go to emission here, open the tab and put color to color and put the strength to 1. Now go back to your top down view and render that without moving the camera or anything, just render it. Now save this one as, this will be your texture for your basic map. Save it as 8-bit color depth, RGB. I don't think it matters, you don't need an alpha channel. No compression. Now the hard part's done. Now you just go to your level and if you don't want to have to redo the terrain paints, it's easier to just replace the terrain block with the new terrain block rather than delete that one and then add the other one. Because if you do it the other way, you're going to have to tell it, okay, upgrade to PBR materials and go through that whole spiel. Where this way, you can just write over it, basically. So go to Terrain Tools, Import Terrain. Now here's the height. What was the height I said? 3,600 meters is max height. Meters per pixel. I like to do 0.5. That gives it more detail. Will it still be the right scale? I don't know. I don't know what the proper scale of that thing is anyway. So I'm going to do 0.5. It's going to make the 8K terrain block a 4K block, but it'll be fine. The height map image is the first one you save. It's called height map. It should be red. If it's not red, don't do it. You did it wrong. This is representative of grayscale. Red is 8192 by 8192. Open that up and then import. All right, where did it put it? It put it somewhere. There it is. Let's get on up there to the top of that thing there. All 3,600 meters above the ground. Now, since I did do 0.5, I should account for that. That's the difference. There's going to be an offset because it's half of what it should be. I know I need to make the height. I need to modify the height, but one thing at a time. Let's get the texture on here. Don't delete that warning material. Go to your terrain material library and make a new one. Set the base texture to 8192 by 8192. And then I usually do 4K. I don't usually do 8K, but since we're doing this terrain block, I want it to look good. So we'll do 8K. 8190, God damn it, 8192. Macro and detail, I leave those at 1024, but you can go higher. But after waiting on a few of these to render or save and whatnot, you'll be probably hoping you did, whether you did less than more, because it takes a while for 8K to save. Apply to change. Now that you've applied the change, if it took yet, go to make new material. I guess we're still waiting. Or I'm missing a little window. Oh, new material. And that thing had me all messed up. It's off the screen. So I'm like looking for something that wasn't there. So new material. Get rid of ground type snow. We'll start with that. Now add the material. Now once it's over here, and I didn't even name it. How about just snow? Now that it's over here, we can add to it here. All we're going to put in here is a base color, which is that rendered image that we rendered a minute ago. Small island. Which one's the texture? There it is. And we're going to duplicate it and put it in ambient occlusion. The scaling needs to be 8192. Save changes. Now once you save it, you can now add it here. And then delete the warning material. And you got a fully painted terrain block of a glacier. But the elevation is wrong, because like I said, I did not do the 1.0. Let's just do that. So I don't have to do any math, because I'm not good at math. I always set that base texture size up to 4096. That's the highest it'll go. I don't know that it really makes much of a difference. Square. Yeah, that's probably normal. It does look kind of high back there in the back. Kind of stretched back there. But overall, it ain't. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like a little waterfall, ain't it? A little ice waterfall. Now, this does not have any other materials other than just the base texture. So there's no normal mapping. There's nothing like that. If you want it to be, normal mapped and all that stuff, you can add a macro and detail. So since this is mostly snow, and you'll need to smooth it out just a little bit. You see those stair steps? You can smooth that out. But you get that because there's not enough shades of gray to accurately represent it. You know what I mean? If you did 8-bit color grayscale, it'd be even bigger blocks. Or more of them. Let's see here. Materials. Macro. We'll just do one macro map. I find if I got a 1K snow. Well, I just downloaded some for the other map. Let me grab them out of there. Did I do 1K though? Hell no. I do got some somewhere, but by the time I find them, I could have just re-downloaded them. Snow, snow, snow. What kind of snow we gonna get? Just basic, something basic. Maybe like windswept snow or something like that. And we'll get to 1K. Now I'll copy this to my clipboard and I'll go back to the user folder where the level's at. And paste it in here. But I'll stick it in it. I usually stick it in the, well, that's fine right there. Now I'll go back to the game and pick the macro texture. Now something that'll save you a little time, because every time you click on a new one, it's going to have to make you have to re-navigate back to it. I'll show you what I'll do. So we got a base map, normals. That one is actually for roughness and metallic. And that, I don't know what the hell that is supposed to be. Some of these you get from here are kind of like weird formats. But it'll all work. So we'll put that one in the macro base. Now I'll copy this to my clipboard so I don't have to keep navigating. I'll just paste it and then click, and it takes me right back there. I can get the right one, normals. And then go into the roughness, same thing, pick the roughness one. Oh, I'm in the wrong shit. I'm in the base texture. Dummy, dummy, dummy. I damn did it wrong. Now, I don't have a normal mapping or anything for the actual base model. Base texture is what you see all the time, basically. But no, I don't have them. I could make them, but that takes even longer to do that. Then you got to bake them. They ought to color code these things, make your eyeballs get to where it needs to get quicker. Like ambient occlusion should have its own color. That should have a different color. You know what I mean? A lot easier when your eyes kind of get a sense of where you're going and kind of got little cues. Oh, this looks all the same to me. So if I'm trying to do this in a hurry, ain't nothing in a hurry about it. You gotta go through all that and find the one you're looking for. But I don't know. Just what I would do. The scale of this is important too. It depends on your image you're using. You may not need a large scale, maybe a small scale. All right, now if we get up close, you can see the extra details coming in of that wind-swept snow. You may say, I'm going to go up, make that bigger. But what I'm going to do is reduce the amount of, because that's a terrible, that doesn't look good. So in here, you got the amounts that you want it to blend with. And since this is basically no texture, it's just adding white to the other map, basically. Because one more or less multiplies the other. And ambient occlusion. I'm just half-assedly explaining this. I'm not even really giving a good explanation of what this. One is for how far away, one's for far away, one's for up close. It's the intensity level, one being 100%, zero being none. And you can put detailed maps in there if you want to get even closer with even more detail. But it would look better with having an actual normal mapping, roughness, ambient occlusion. I'm not sure that roughness is actually right. I know it ain't right, it ain't grayscale, but we're just using what we got to go with. Now we don't have a depth map. We need a depth map. The depth map adds depth to the ground in addition to the depth from the ground models, which this isn't behaving like snow. I can tell you that because it didn't find one. It's going to tell you that it couldn't find one, that it's making everything asphalt basically. That map resolution is wrong. And you don't want to use the one that came with small island anyway. So what I'll do is usually make one like a grayscale image that's not absolutely 100% white, but kind of like a little gray, just a bit. That way it sinks in just a tiny bit, but not that much. Then you can still use your ground models. I don't personally like to use this particular depth map thing because I don't plan a map ahead of time so much to know where I want it to be deep at or shallow. So I just like to just make them solid white usually and not even worry with it. But I believe it's what is white. What is white is what you sink in the most, I believe. I don't damn forgot. It's white or black. It's one or the other. No, white is what you do not sink in. Black is what you sink in. And make it the same scale as your base texture size, which is 8192. And like I said, we'll flood fill it kind of grayish, not 100% white, but just a little bit of gray. Now, what you'll save it as is got to be named a certain way. Let me double check. I think it's height.per, but I got to make sure. Uh, okay, so name.ter.depth.png. So a small island. And you'll put it in the root right here. spell it right. I don't know what the fluid density should be for snow. But going on? Damn, that ground model ain't good, is it? Make this a little bit darker. I don't know what's going on with them damn lights. Hmm. way did that go? Wasn't that way then? Damn camera, man.